What's going on, people? Welcome to United View and welcome to another link up with the guys from We Talk Ajax, the family. Safi and Ajax, they are fresh back from going to Old Trafford off the back of an amazing experience for you guys. I'm so glad you got to experience it, man. And I know you're nearly done here in England, but we could not let you go back to Amsterdam without coming by UVHQ and having a chat, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here, man. And it's lovely to see the studio where all the magic happens.
Yes.
So this should be part of our trip, you know, touching down here for a little view.
100%, bro, 100%. And anytime you come to England, you know where we're at now. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
Nice, man. I want to ask you about a few things actually while we've got you, because Jurriën Timber has been in the news recently.
Yeah.
He has been in the news, and I kind of raised my eyebrows a little bit. We covered it on the channel at the time, a few days ago, and he said that I have an agreement in place with Ajax. The reason why I signed a new deal is because the club asked me to. It was out of love. And there are conversations going on in the background regarding the transfer. Could he be suited for Manchester United? And is he on his way out? What's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, could he be suited? He was like a magical pair up with Licha Martinez. So
could that work in the Premier League, though?
Yeah, it's difficult. You know, he has also a little bit of the height problem, and he doesn't have the leaping ability like Licha does, but he suits up well with him. But the Premier League is a different beast. If I'm being honest, Timber hasn't been the Timber of last season.
No. Is that because Martinez wasn't there?
Yeah, I think so. Martinez leaving was like a huge blow for us, and you could see what he brings to the Manchester United squad, and that's exactly what left Ajax, you know. So him being not in the central defense anymore, rallying the troops, keeping Timber on his toes, you know, that's difficult for us. And you could see the drop in level with weaker players around him this season. He was not able to carry the load on its own, and it's still a young player. So for me, it's way too soon for him to already go to a Premier League team, because for me, you have to perform at Ajax at the top level. You have to be the top dog. Do it for a season, maybe season and a half, 2 seasons, carrying the team. And he's not doing that at the moment. Is it something that we can expect from him already? Maybe not. But he thinks probably that he's ready to go abroad. For me, not so much yet.
Sakpi, how do you feel about him? Is he ready to make that step over? Because, you know, we try Manchester United, we're trying to get him first. Before Martinez, you know, and then obviously he said no, he signed a new deal, listened to Louis van Gaal a little bit as well. You won't play if you go there. You're not playing in the national team. But it's Martinez who's been unbelievable for us, and Ajax basically saying there that he doesn't think that he's ready to make the step.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult because if you look at Licha and Timber, Licha doesn't really need Timber beside him. I mean, he complements Timber. The other way around, Timber needs Licha to excel, and you could see that this season. You could see that he's way out of form because he hadn't have somebody next to him who was able to help him out. Licha was doing basically everything, was the leader at the back line, and you don't see that now anymore. Hence the way we concede goals so easily. Yeah, I don't think he would really fit at this moment. He had a really bad season, if I might say so. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult to cope this if he went to United, to be honest.
See, that's really interesting to hear, because it's like literally rewind, you know, into the summer. Like I said, before we got Martinez, it was Timber, and we really thought we was gonna get him. Then that stopped, and then it was Martinez. But what you guys are actually saying is that Martinez is the better player by far.
By far,
Martinez is the one who suits the Premier League right now. And if they were both together in the Premier League, maybe they might not complement each other so well in this type of league.
Yeah, I think they complement each other, but it's a different type of beast than the Eredivisie and the European competitions is a little bit more similar. But it's difficult within a Premier League. You need to have some defenders that also have a little bit of height, and if you have two without the problem, with the problem not being that tall, you know, it's difficult to cope with. And it surprised me also, because you can only judge so far, you know. And if a player leaves the club and you think Timber is maybe the better of the two, and then you realize Martinez was very important for also how Timber played. So then you can see who the better player is. And I think it may be lucky for you guys that you went for Martinez.
Did you think that then? In the summer, when we was in for Timber, then it was Martinez. Did you think then that Martinez is better?
No.
Or did you think Timber was better?
I thought they were quite similar.
Right.
And I didn't experience what I experienced this season, that Martinez was that huge of a part
You didn't
of
realize
the success of Timber and of the cohesion within the team. And Martinez is actually the leader without the armband. Tadic has the armband, but it's been proven that Martinez was one of the leaders without the armband.
That's what he is at Man United as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And back then, I thought like they're quite similar, but Timber is the younger product, younger player, so more stretch. But actually, I think Martinez was much further than Timber was back then, but we didn't realize it. So
That's
you got
really
a good deal.
interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. Did you feel that Sakbi, that actually Martinez was the better player then?
100%.
Oh, so even then you was like Martinez.
Yeah, 100%. He has all the qualities to be the defender he is right now. By the way, I could see them work together well if there is a defensive midfielder who is physically strong, who can win all the headers and so on, who really helps out and assists the central defense, then it might work.
But even so, set pieces and stuff, like it's still a big lack in it.
It's a big lack there will always be a risk. There will always be a risk.
Martinez will handle himself. You've seen that in this season, also with the aerial ability. But Timber has a little bit more problems in that area.
Really?
So
even in Eredivisie,
he got beaten many times also through the air. So it's just a problem. I'm not saying you cannot cope with it, like Sakbi said, because Alvarez did it many times at our team, like that triangle, Timber, Martinez, Alvarez. But it has to be, like Sakbi said, a very strong central defender, central midfielder in front of him.
And look, a place that we do seem to be sorted at is right back.
Yeah.
With Wan-Bissaka and Dalot. So I'm not saying we need to get Timber to play right back, but has he played right back much for you this year as well? Or is it just always centre back?
Always centre
That's
back.
his position.
Normally always centre, but he was always a backup right back.
Just in case something happened.
Not this season, but during last seasons he was always a backup right back.
Right.
And it works out well. And he can work on that position. He can play on that position, but it's not the best suited position for him.
So centre back is
centre back.
That's him.
And a lot of fans also stating that defensive midfielder position might suit him as well.
Is he good enough for that?
He can build up. He has the ability he has the technical ability to pass the ball up front. But of course, you still got that physical part, and in the Premier League, that might be an issue.
Yeah, I mean, as a United fan, it's like a buzzword, Timber. It's like, we can go and get Timber. And I mean this, I mean this with the most amount of respect. I don't want us to just be an Ajax 2.0 though as well. We went and got Eric. Okay, we went and got Martinez. Okay, we went and got Anthony. I kind of feel like that's enough.
Yeah, I understand.
I know unless there's a player who really is, outstanding, and I'm going to ask you about Gravenberch in a little bit. But obviously, he's a Bayern Munich player, but links obviously to yourselves. But I just feel like I understand. Let's have our own bit identity as well. And I know we're getting Eric, and Eric is very much, Ajax. Would you call him an Ajax legend now? I mean, is he up there now? Yeah. Okay. Well, how long was he there for? 3 years?
No longer, 4.5, I think.
Yeah.
4.5. Right. Okay. Yeah. So he's an Ajax legend, but I don't want that to be a reason why we don't look elsewhere. In the first season, when he got Martinez, when he wanted Timber but got Martinez, I thought, okay, he's once tried and tested his guys trying to implement a style. When he got Anthony and spent all that money on Anthony, I went, right, okay, I get it. Again, the best way to get his philosophy through a new squad is to almost put little plants there and let it spread throughout, because Anthony knows what he wants from him. Martinez knows what he wants from him. So I'm cool with that. Yeah. But going forward, I would, not to sound like Jamie Carragher here saying that too small, he can't play, but having two centre-halves of similar height like Martinez, that would worry me a little bit, I have to be honest, because as much as Timber's probably really good on the deck, well, I saw him play in that last game, he was unbelievable, they both was. And I thought about it and I thought, I want us to get like I look at like William Saliba at Arsenal, or like a Kanate, strong, tall,
physical,
powerful, quick. How Varane, you need that type. I need another mould of Varane. Essentially Luke Shaw is doing or can do a lot of what Martinez can do. Martinez obviously excels in more of it, but definitely. Luke Shaw's brilliant in terms of that left-footed, kind of same kind of profile. we need, and Lindelof is doing a really good job now at stepping in for Varane, which I never.
Terrific last match.
He was
terrific.
brilliant. You saw that.
Terrific.
So we need players like that, but I still don't want to go down the smaller height route. And I might sound a little bit like Jamie Carragher, but I just having if Timber and Martinez were my starting centre backs in the Premier League every week, I would worry.
Yeah,
I would worry then.
No, I totally agree.
Would you rather have Harry?
No.
No Maguire.
No Maguire. Definitely not. Would you want him actually in the summer?
No, thank you.
Even
in the
more
mud.
time on the ball, can ping it.
Not
Good at
even
Leicester.
for free.
Leicester, when they were good, it's probably about the league. That's probably Eredivisie standard.
But it's not the same.
He's good on the ball, man. He ping it diagonal.
I understand.
Ajax.
We already conceded so many goals this season. We do not want some own goals also, man. Come on.
Guys, I tried. They told me no Maguire. They told me. I want to ask about Gravenberch, or how do you say?
Gravenberch.
I've got no chance.
Yeah.
Gravenberch.
It's even difficult, more difficult than Ten Hag.
Oh, way more difficult.
Gravenberch.
Oh my goodness, I've got no chance. But there is talks that he could be available. Not loads and loads of links with Man United, but I just wanted to talk about him, about a player obviously you guys know very well, and could he suit the Premier League and Man United? Obviously you find it a bit tough at Bayern Munich, and I know I think they even said we're going to keep him and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
how good is
long
he?
contract.
Yeah.
For me, I love Gravenberch. He is very good. He's a young prospect, and the talent is there. And actually, he had to have quite a difficult role at Ajax the season that he played, the last one, before he went to Bayern München, because he had to cover for Blind and Tadic on that left side. Not the fastest players, and that brings some risk with it. So he had to play in a very controlled role, less freedom, not like Frankie had in the past, and that meant that he had to keep a little bit or distance more to the goal and a little bit more control in his play, not freely play like he used to be. And that is with Gravenberch. He has all the abilities, he has the qualities, he has the potential. He has the speed and the versatility in his play, but he needs to play more games. And the plan that he had with Bayern München, it didn't work out. He got benched there. But the quality is there. It's one of the biggest talents that Ajax has brought up like last decades. So I have a lot of faith in him, but he needs time. And Erik is a kind of coach that knows him and knows how to get the best out of him. So like with Timber, I have some doubts, but with Gravenberch, I can see him being a value for you guys. Definitely.
Yeah, do you echo that?
No, 100%. I mean, he made his debut under Ten Hag, 16 years old.
Wow.
16 years
That's
old,
insane.
man. So you could see the talent, and he has physique, so he could easily cope in the Premier League. It's all about the intensity now. He doesn't play a lot of games at this moment, so it will take him time to adjust to the level if he went to the Premier League. But he has such a high ceiling. He's 16 years old, and I think he's becoming 21. And he already had so many games at Ajax, Bayern Munich right now, so he has a lot of potential. If you compare him with Sabitzer is probably better in terms of experience and so on. But if you look at what he can achieve, the technical level, his dribbles, because you won't be able to take the ball away from him if he has the ball. With his long legs, he can do terrific.
Sounds like a Wan-Bissaka in midfield.
But the one thing about him that he really needs to develop on are basically two things: his headers. He doesn't even though he's tall, but his headers are awful.
Sounds like Weghorst. Tall but can't win the headers.
Exactly. And secondly, in transition, he always normally when he should mark his opponent during transition, he always loses him, and that's something which Ten Hag really tries to develop at his time at Ajax. And I don't know. He didn't play a lot at Bayern Munich, so I don't know whether he continued to develop in that area. But that's really a thing. And if United keeps tries to attack and wants to have the ball, it can be an issue if they lose the ball with Gravenberch in midfield. But overall, Great player.
And
great
obviously he's
player.
very young as well. So.
I think he's spot on with his analysis of Gravenberch, but I want to add one thing. Maybe it was because of the role he was playing at Ajax that last season, like I explained with Blind and Tadic, but he gets into that position to score a goal, but he has to work on his conversion.
His finishing.
His finishing, like the amount of chances you get and the amount of goals you score. Because he was getting in that position, even though he had to play deeper, closer to our own goal to cover for those two. But his conversion was very low, the amount of chances he had and the amount of goals he scored. And I think at that position, he needs to provide a contribution to the team also in the form of goals and assists. And that is something he needs to work on a bit still.
Well, one for the future, we'll see. We'll see how this summer goes. Again, there hasn't been anything concrete with Man United going for him, but since I had you guys and you guys know a lot about him, just wanted to get a little bit more insight. I hope you guys have enjoyed that little bit as well. Just want to talk about Erik ten Hag's second seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, he's brought in Malacia, he brought in Eriksson, he brought in Casemiro, he brought in Anthony, he brought in Martinez, and I can't remember who the other one was. Dubravka. Sabitzer, Weghorst.
Yeah.
But in terms of the summer. And those players actually, if I assess those players, I think they've done really well. I mean, Eriksson was a huge miss for us when he got injured in January.
Yeah.
He really is a big hole in our team. We don't have another midfielder who's like him. Him and Martinez are our most technically sound players, I would say, on the ball. Martinez is probably, maybe it might go to Rashford because of the sheer number of goals he scored, but Martinez is probably going to win the player of the year.
Yeah.
If not a very close second because Rashford scored all the goals.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But as a team player and how well he's gelled in, unbelievable. Anthony, I think, has been the one that earlier on you're like, come on, kid. I see there's something. But again, though, when he doesn't play, we've got nobody else. And he plays. What I really like about Anthony, which I know you guys will see, is that he works his arse off.
Yep.
Like there is a certain bar that he will not go below. He works hard for the team, and he is getting better.
Yeah.
It's still, like you said, I think you said it spot on the other day, forget the money that we paid for him.
Yeah.
It's not our fault.
No.
It's not Anthony's fault.
No.
Actually, it is our fault because we came too late for you.
Yeah, but
and
still.
you slapped that price tag on him. But he's 22, I think, and I forget. And actually, when I see him a lot of times when we're in mixed zones and stuff, KG did an interview with Anthony.
I saw that one. That was awesome.
It was really fun, and he's a really good kid. He got his head on his shoulders, and I love that I'm from the favelas. I fight. Football means everything to me.
He's proud.
You can feel it. So those players have done really well. Second season, what do you think we can expect from Erik ten Hag in terms of the type of signings he might make? Do you think it could be similar to Ajax in terms of what the next stage of his development is for certain players, fine-tuning things, or at Man United you see it differently because we still got more things we need?
It was such a broken puzzle at Man United, with all due respect.
Yeah, it was.
Before Ten Hag came, and we talked about it so many times on the channel already. It's the puzzle that he's laying down, and he bought some of those puzzle pieces that you're missing, and the puzzle is starting to form.
Yeah.
But there are still some puzzle pieces missing, and he needs to complete that next season. He needs to offload certain players, and he needs to find those puzzle pieces to complete it and to be able to compete on the highest level. And you are doing great this season, and you can expect more. Because the players that are playing now will be more comfortable with his style of play. He will start implementing more and more. He's an intelligent guy. I think he knows, if at Ajax we could play it all after all those years, I think he knows what the maximum is this team can achieve at the moment. So he's not stupid like, I'm demanding this from you. No, he knows this is how far we can go and we will be successful with it, but this is his end goal. And to get there, he needs to fine-tune some stuff. But he's getting the most out of the team, what he can get at the moment.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And I think a few players are needed. You really, in my opinion, need a striker.
Oh, that's top of the priorities.
And look at the strikers that we had in last season. It can be a different one. It can be a Tadic kind of role, like more of a false nine. Or it can be a Sebastian Haller type of striker, like more of a target man. like Wout Weghorst could be, you know, but it's not he's not delivering it. He has the mentality.
He's not gonna, yeah.
You know, he has the mentality,
Not at
but
all.
that kind of player, you know. And I think definitely you will be getting a striker, maybe a great midfielder that can move the play, like a Frankie de Jong. I know it's a difficult player to talk about.
It's that type,
that type of player.
Mode. We need
and I think maybe some more strengthening in the central defense position and maybe at the right back position. That is what I think the main goals are. And if I'm being honest, I love De Gea as a legend of the club. But for the money that he's on at your club, and it's now in the middle if he will sign a new contract or not, maybe think about getting another goalkeeper that suits the play that Ten Hag wants to play.
On that, because that's been a big. You see the channel.
I know the Marcel
exactly.
the gay agenda.
Exactly, and actually, and you know what? To be fair to Marcel, you know, a lot, and Cam, and you know, a lot of you guys at home, you know, we've seen a lot of the stuff everyone's been saying. And when I was in Seville, that was when I went.
Yeah, it was a difficult one.
With Ten Hag, can De Gea fit into what he wants to do at all? Or, you know, how was it at Ajax? Well, who did you have? Stecklenburg?
Yeah, we had Onana at first. I've heard the rumors about you
maybe going for him. How could it work with the keeper?
Yeah, difficult one. I mean, he played Onana at Ajax. He was excellent with his feet. Pasveer thereafter, also excellent with his feet. So it's part of the profile that he seeks. And De Gea doesn't have that profile. But the question is, will he focus merely on that spot or on the other spots, like the strikers, and then get back? Because I mean, De Gea, as you said, he's a legend of the club, spent so many years. I don't know whether he will focus on getting a new keeper or focusing on other players. Because what I do know is he's already focusing on next season. Ten Hag is breathing football, as I said so many times. He's already busy. His checks and balances are already done. He knows who he's going to offload. He knows who he wants to keep. He knows what type of players he wants to get in. So it's already done deal. It's already in his head what he wants. It's a matter of implementing it in the summer. That's it.
What do you think? Ajax, and I'll ask you afterwards. What's the most? Because some Man United fans are saying, listen, even over a striker, and I disagree, but even over a striker, we have to start at the back first. That keeper has got to change. Doesn't matter if you have Harry Kane. Doesn't matter if you have a midfield. Do you think that we should change that priority, where over a striker it should be a goalkeeper, or do you?
I do not know if you need to prioritize it. I think it's a package deal that you need to solve. You know, there are several positions that is needed. But I will tell you my 2 cents why I think it's important. Because I think maybe another goalkeeper is necessary, and I'll tell you why. Ten Hag likes to be press resistant. He's done that at Ajax, but comfortable players that are comfortable on the ball, like Martinez, never in stress to offload that ball, you know, always comfortable, seeking those solutions and stuff. If you have a comfortable defense, but you have a keeper that cannot handle that kind of pressure, and when pressed loses the ball, this is a weak link for your team. That's why you need a keeper that's comfortable with his feet, because then you get press resistant. If the defense cannot solve it upwards, they can offload it to the keeper. If the keeper is being pressed, other defenders will be free again, which he can offload it to. Then you can have the passing play combination football. With De Gea, this is a problem, and I saw it when I was at Stratford End the last match, you know, and also the people in the stands there. When he gets the ball and he gets pressed,
they're on him straight away.
I was nervous.
And to be fair, even in that game particularly, he didn't even make any bad mistakes. As soon as it goes to him, people are like, no, just go long, don't give it to De Gea. Did you feel that?
Yeah, of course, and I feel it myself too. He had one ball that he delivered properly to the side, and the whole crowd was like, oh.
But is that a little bit unfair to De Gea, because actually sometimes he's actually doing it okay. But the fans are like, we're like, because he's known to not do it, or it's a problem and it needs.
It is a problem and it needs to be solved. But he is very good at what he does, and that is shot stopping. But he doesn't have the ability to really properly do the pass distribution. And if you want to be a press resistant team, this is one of the most important positions to have that. You know, we have a keeper now called Rulli. He's the new goalkeeper. He's very comfortable, very calm on the ball. And it brings a certain rest within a team. The problem with us is that our back line is shit at the moment, you know. So we have that keeper, we have that keeper, but the defense is terrible.
Yeah.
But this is my 2 cents why I think it's very important in the Erik ten Hag kind of play to have a press-resistant keeper.
So David De Gea wants to stay, but on less money.
Yeah.
So he's going to reduce his terms because he can't be on 375 grand.
Yeah.
He's going to be more like 200.
Alisson and Ederson are like on 180, right?
Exactly, something like that.
That's ridiculous.
So he wants to stay and be on less money. Do you think that Erik ten Hag is in a bit of a cross situation where he knows how big David De Gea is of a player at Man United, and he does really like him? I've spoke to him. We've asked him questions about it, and I know he's never going to slate his players in public, never, and we know that.
Yeah.
But do you think that he will try to phase him out slowly, or do you think he'll get him to stay and actually still get another keeper to help with that transition, because maybe he doesn't want to just get rid of De Gea, get a new person, and then maybe it's not quite right, whilst he still has to fix striker, whilst he still has to get some central midfielders, whilst he still needs centre-backs. How do you think he'll manage that situation? And did he have a transition of goalkeepers when he came to you, or was it just the same ones?
No, we had a terrible situation with the doping situation with Onana. So we were forced into
how long did he get banned for? Like
1
9
year,
months?
and then it was reduced to 9 months or something.
Yeah. About that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's difficult, you know. I cannot plan how he wants to handle it, because he's done the same with Harry, you know. Made him the captain, or
carried him on,
remain at being the captain and phase him out a bit.
Yeah.
But he is a manager that is quite honest to his players. So if he says that he wants him, maybe he really wants him and he sees potential in him. But if I was Erik, although De Gea is a huge legend, no disrespect there.
Of course.
But there are better type of keepers that are more comfortable with that type of play, that can bring you some rest within the last line of your defense, and this is what I would opt for. But
the question is, are there any names available who could replace him? I don't think there are many.
Some Man United fans talking about David Raya at Brentford. He's chosen not to sign a new deal, and he could be available for about 30-40 million. So people are saying
Ajax was interested. Ajax was interested in him as well, eh?
Oh, were they?
Yeah. Prior to Rulli, they were
right. So there's him. There's Diego Costa. Does he play for Porto or Benfica? I think it's Porto.
Always confused those two.
Yeah, exactly. I saw him in the World Cup for Portugal. Again, World Cup's a small sample size. He made a few mistakes. I wasn't sold on him, but I don't watch him. In the Champions League, he's been really good. Penalty saves, big saves, and distribution as well. So there are a few names, in the hat as well. We'll have to just wait and see. But for how he wants to play, it's just interesting to hear you guys, which I kind of knew. But
playing devil's advocate here, what's your 2 cents? Do you want to keep him, or do you not want to answer that question?
No, I do. I will answer it because I've been there. These guys know. I've had that Sevilla game punched me in the face.
Yeah.
The Sevilla game punched me in the face because I think, but also what we've learned since that day is that, again, not trying to put it all on Harry Maguire, but when you play with him, it just unsettles everything. Yep. But David De Gea should never have passed him that ball. Never have passed him it.
Even when he asks for it.
Even when he asks for it, as a goalkeeper, you should make the decision for Harry Maguire to say, you're not good enough to get away from them three players. I'm going long.
I was a similar situation with, if I recall correctly, with Eriksen at that second match of the season with Brentford.
Yeah, he passed it straight to him.
It was under full pressure, and as a goalkeeper, this is also something that you need to recognize. With being press resistant, also have that football IQ to see this is not the player and the position that I want to be passing to.
And Erik ten Hag, I asked him in the press conference straight after that, did you tell them to do that? Did you tell us to play out from the back at every single opportunity? And he literally said, no, of course not. This was very naive. You need to know the times when to do it, something along them lines. So, do I want David De Gea to go? If Ten Hag decides that he's not the man anymore, I'm completely comfortable. Like, as much as I've backed David De Gea, because the reason why I've backed him is because the little in-house things we have, like the way Cam will speak about it, he's useless, he's not brave, he's crap, he's in the bottom percent for this, he can't do anything. And I'm like, David De Gea has won us more points this year than he's cost us. Yeah. In a team that is constantly changing. Yeah. But I am not naive enough to understand that at the right time, that kind of the dial is going to land at his position. Where it's like, right, we need to sort that out. But not before we go and get Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen. Not before we go and get another world-class progressive midfielder.
That's what I think as well.
Yeah.
Not before we get rid of Harry Maguire and have to get another good centre-back.
Yeah.
For me, there's those three things I put higher than getting a keeper.
Me too.
But this is where a lot of United fans disagree with me because they feel like, no, it needs to be now before we finish off.
Yeah. And I'm with you on this. I totally agree with you on this. My expectation is that Ten Hag will probably give him a short-term contract.
Yeah.
Be honest.
And less money. And
be honest with him. Be true to him. They will get a new keeper. United will get a new keeper, and they will have to fight it out. Yeah. He won't guarantee him to be first goalie. He will have to fight himself to be the starter. So you're probably going to get a new goalie. That's my 2 cents on this.
Listen, guys, it's been a great show. It's been great having you in UVHQ.
Yeah, man, lovely.
Really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having us.
Listen, man, you guys know you're always family to the channel. And I just think back to just when I was lying in my bed when we was about to get Ten Hag, thinking of new content ideas, and I thought it'd be really good to speak to some Ajax guys, man. Let me just type it in on. I just went onto YouTube and put Ajax fan channel. That's what I put.
Yeah.
And We Talk Ajax was at the top, and that is.
Magic,
and
man.
then look now, over a year later.
That's lovely.
We're still here. So anytime, we'll do maybe some annual trips to come back to Amsterdam, check
Always
in on the
welcome.
guys
Always
as well.
welcome.
And
Always
we're
welcome.
always going to do some content as well. So guys, you guys know where to find We Talk Ajax. You know where to find the channel. Make sure you subscribe and do all that good stuff. And big up to the guys who didn't make it over here as well.
100%.
Yes. Big up to the
Shout
guys.
out and big up to Juan, Papimento, and Ihab.
Exactly. Big up to the guys, man. We're missing you as well. And we'll do some more content very soon. Smash the like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace.